Isn't she adorable? She reminds me of my daughter when she was born. She had spiky hair, like dark brown spiky hair, and she was adorable. But her hair stayed like this for 6 months. So Giselle makes those. My friend Giselle makes those. And when I saw this at her house, I thought, I gotta have it. So she reminds me of Stoofy. Anyways, and I'll put Giselle's link down below. She has a website. She does all kinds of personalized items like that. So it is, after this long intro, it's Friday, June 7th, and I'm having a fun day today. After I'm recording this, I'm going out with Kathy and my daughter. So we're going out, we're gonna go pick up stuff at her workplace, and we're gonna have a bite to eat there, and then we're crossing the street to go to the theater. So really, really exciting. I'm just waiting for Kathy to finish work, and she's driving over here. Anyways, I have a couple of things to show you. I filmed a tutorial yesterday for the store, and it's about a faux suede technique, which was really fun. I didn't think that I would enjoy that, but it was a lot of fun. I'm looking for, oh, there it is. It's made with this. It's called Ink Refresher by Inkssentials. So yeah, using that. Very simple technique. I'm just going to walk you through really quickly because there's really not much to it. But I made a few projects with it. I made a card and a couple of tags. I'm going to share that with you. And I also have an art journal page to show you. And I'm going to hook up the camera and do that now. Let me give you a close-up of this first. For this technique to work, apparently you have to use a craft cardstock or craft tag. And that's the liquid that I use that I was showing you at the beginning, the Ink Refresher by Inkssentials. You take your tag and you spray this on your tag, saturating your tag, and then you rub with your finger. And as you rub, you'll feel the fibers of the paper not pulling apart but bubbling up, which is really interesting. See, I made this yesterday and it still feels wet to me, but it's not. It's actually conditioned, and that won't break. And then you crumple it in your hands. You get those beautiful crinkles, and then you take some distress stains. On this one I used these two colors. I used Evergreen Bough and Peel Paint. The colors go really well together. I love them. So I added the color, and then I dried this. So, and this is when you start seeing the velvet texture. On this one I embellished more. I took some walnut stain with the ink applicator and I rubbed this all over so the ridges became darker. And then I added Perfect Pearls. Love that stuff. Perfect Pearls. I just took a little bit with my fingers and rubbed very gently, and this is how I got the beautiful shimmer. And the butterfly was also colored with the Perfect Pearls. I just took a wet brush, took a bit of pearls in the jar, mixed it up on my mat, and then I just used the brush to color in that beautiful butterfly, which is a butterfly which is a stamp and die cut set by Eco Park from Sizzix, and I use this butterfly, and obviously I have the die here. Here I did another one here. It's ready to cut. So this is the die. Love these things because, you know, you don't have to fussy cut. So if you're in a hurry, you want to do something really quickly, those are perfect. So I colored this one with the Perfect Pearls. I added some wax linen thread for the antennas, and I've got a gorgeous tag. Now this one, check out the color, check out the butterfly. Can you guess what I used to color the butterfly? Ta-da! My new love, the Wink of Stella brushes. Love these. The payoff is amazing. I mean, look at that butterfly. How gorgeous. Now on this tag I used 3 different colors. I used Worn Lipstick, Rusty Hinge, and Aged Mahogany. And you don't have to use multiple colors. I just think it makes it more interesting. On this tag I added 2 different colors of pearls, and these pearls come in this set. It's the Cafe set. That's what I used. It's got gorgeous colors. And I used a Cappuccino and the Mandarin Perfect Pearls to rub all over the tag after I went over with the walnut stain ink. Then I made a card. So the tag that you do, you can actually use them as accents on a card. This clip here is also part of that stamp set. You see it here, and I have the die that goes with that. The flower is also from the same stamp set, and I colored it in with some Perfect Pearls again. Look at that. I added a pearl in the center. I took a sentiment, cut it up, added it onto here. This is a basic gray paper. It's from their Basics collection. It's an older collection. It's called Basics Manila Paper Pad 6x6. Just added a little bit of linen thread and you've got a card. Okay, so this is the art journaling page that I made last Friday. I love it. If I put my hand there. I have a problem with this flower underneath my hand. Let me talk to you about my process and then I'll talk to you about the particulars. I used some old book text, tore some pieces and glued them down with matte medium, a gel matte medium. Then I took a stencil. It's the Basket Weave stencil by the Crafters Workshop, and I used light molding paste. I went over the stencil in some areas. I wanted that side flat so that I could add my little girl, and you know, I was going to journal here, but I didn't. Then when that was all dry, I took a couple of gelatos and I started coloring my page, diluting it with water or even spreading it with my fingers. I love gelatos for that. So I went over the whole page. I ended up using only blues and greens and a little bit of yellow here and there. While this was all drying, I focused on the girl, and oh, before I did the girl, I actually added some rub-ons here. What you see here, some of the, you know, numbers and stuff like that, these are just rub-ons. I took them randomly and I just scraped, you know, there was no rhyme or reason. I just wanted something here with rub-ons, and whatever came out, came out. Then that girl is a Prima girl, a Prima stamp, and I stamped her 3 times. I stamped the whole girl on white cardstock. I colored her with gelatos as well. Then I stamped it a second time, but just the dress on book text paper, and then I stamped this portion on a white cardstock as well, so I could paper piece the pockets. Before I cut out the dress on the book text, I added some stenciling with black paint. So that was that, and then I cut her out, and then I glued the girl together, and then I just glued it down here. The halo that you see here, that's kind of like dark as a charcoal pen. Then the mayhem started. I had this stencil to play with. It was a Christy Tomlinson stencil. It's a great stencil. I love it. But for what I needed to use it with, maybe it wasn't the right thing. Anyways, I'll show you in more detail here. This side here was great. What I used through the stencil is a sorbet dimensional paint by Art Anthology, which I love. And because I wanted the dimensional characteristic of the paint to really show, I used a palette knife through the stencil. On this side, no problem. My page is flat. I was able to hold the stencil really well, and then I just went over it with a palette knife, rubbed off the excess, and this is what created that beautiful flower. Oh, and by the way, this stamp is an Impression Obsession stamp. Really like that. The stencil comes with 3 different stems and leaves and 3 different flowers. That's on the same stencil. So I wanted to use the 3 stems. I started with this one, not so bad. Then I did that one. That's the stuff that I'm not crazy about. Because I have texture here, the basket weave goes all the way down here. So because I had that texture, I was not able to hold the stencil properly. The lines are very fine. And the sorbet paint, it's very grainy. It's a glitter paint. So that didn't work out the way I had planned it. But nevertheless, I mean, it's there. It's there. It's not like horrible, but to me, if I put my hand there, that page is great. And then I added those 3 little ones. These ones were a little problem, but I managed. By then I had more experience and I knew what to expect. And then I added the flowers. When all this was done, I did a contour around my page with just a black marker. I kind of doodled, you know, like I don't like to make straight lines because I can't make really straight lines. I think it's better if you make it look as if you had the intention of going wavy. So that's how it ended up looking. And then I just added She's Convinced of That just to tie in to this sentiment here. And that is the page. I added the date. And I'm going to show you some close-ups. See here. Okay. So I want you to see that texture because it's just so yummy. I love it. Look at that. Look at the basket weave. Oh, to me texture. Oh, I forgot. I also added some splatters with India ink that I diluted a bit with water because it was too thick. But look how gorgeous this texture is. I just love it. And on this side you can see the book text showing through. The gelato. I seem to always work with the same colors. I have to force myself to use other colors, and I will, I promise. And there's the girl. The girl came with, there's a splatter on her. Looks like she's double dye on this side. The girl came with no features. I just added 2 dots and a little smile. Created some cheeks here. And that's the dress. I love how the dress turned out. And these 2 pockets I cut out with my 3rd stamping. I just cut out the pockets. I also colored that with gelatos. And there's, see the paint? Look how beautiful that paint is. I love it. Those gorgeous colors, so yummy. And the stamp, I also created some shadow on the ground here just so that she doesn't seem to be floating or anything. And there's my flower. But I can't get over that paint. It is so yummy. And this, actually, this one here is the other kind of paint that they have. This one is called a sorbet. It's very glittery, very glossy. This one is called velvet. And it really does have the feel of velvet. But it's a matte paint. You can see here it doesn't have the same shimmer as the other one. So maybe the combination of that and this was not the greatest idea for my page, but apparently people liked it. I mean, I like it, don't get me wrong, I still like it, but now I love it. That's what I wanted to show you. So now I'm just waiting for my friend Kathy to show up. She's delayed at work. She's a very busy gal. Hopefully she'll be able to get out soon so that we can go to the store. She has some bit of shopping to do there, I think. And I need to bring my stuff back. We're going to meet with Stoofy. And Kathy and my daughter get along like amazingly well. They love each other so much. And it's always a good time when we're the 3 of us together. And if you have any questions on the faux suede technique, don't be shy, ask. And as usual, thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. And I will see you later. Bye!
Here's the red part. Steph's favorite part. So cool. You have to say it. You should be on So You Think You Can Dance Canada.
Clearly.
You got moves, girl.